So it is 9:20 a.m. in the morning, Sunday morning, as I am sitting here. I just got home from work, a little bit tired, a little bit exhausted, a little bit. During my time at work, I have managed to watch all of Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom is New Japan's WrestleMania. It takes place every January the 4th. So if you are a hardcore wrestling fanatic as I am, you was probably staying up late last night, probably around 2 a.m., all the way up to 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning. Can't even get a light on this bullshit, man. There we go. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something, man. I'm just gonna just speak off the cuff, whatever the case may be. Hiroshi Tanahashi is one of the greatest wrestlers, performers in New Japan history. I believe it was like around 2010, back when the WWE has gone the PG era. John Cena is their flagship guy. This was during the feud between him and CM Punk, and CM Punk basically telling the whole entire world that what we think. Basically, this was around the time Punk was actually a good, honest human being. The fact of the matter is this: it was around that time I just started, going on the internet, just minding my own business. And then what I saw was Tanahashi versus Nakamura. And the way those two fought, and the way they go blow by blow, pause, elbows to the face, it was stiff wrestling. It was truly the type of wrestling that I like. It was more violent, but more respected. If that makes any sense. And because that it was so respected, it changed my view of professional wrestling forever. No more am I part of the goofy bullshit that the WWE brings out every single fucking week. No. This type of wrestling is pure, it's honest, it's simplistic, it's about honor, it's about respect, it's about hurting the other person harder than you could. And Tanahashi brought me to that. If it wasn't for Tanahashi, I will never be a New Japan fan. Not to say that I was a fan of Tanahashi, because let's face it, I'm not a fan of good guys. I don't like um goody two shoes, right? That's why I hate Captain America. That's why I hated John Cena. You know, I hate guys who stand up for truth, justice, and the American way because it's so boring. All right, there's no vision. Right? Being a bad guy or being the anti-hero, that involves creativity. That calls vision. Well, anyway, I'm getting away from myself here. The reason I say all this is because people don't realize just how important, Hiroshi Tanahashi is to New Japan, through the entire world of professional wrestling. And if you don't know who Tanahashi actually looked like, take a look at the poster you see right before you. All right, the one with the two big guys on the front, right? The one with his hair flowing in the winds and looking up in the sky as if, yes, God, I am ready. Man, that's Tanahashi. That's Tanahashi. The guy right next to him with the short hair looking at Tanahashi like, who in the what is wrong with this motherfucker, man? There's something wrong with this guy. That's Okada. We'll get to Okada in a moment. But yes, over 50,000 people were jam packed in the Tokyo Dome last night to see Tanahashi's final bout, final match against his all time rival, Kazuchika Okada. And that match, he brought it everything to the ring. He brought it, his passion, his heart, his soul, right in the middle of the ring, and Okada did it in kind. And he freely did that as the heel in this entire matchup. The thing about Wrestle Kingdom to me as a whole, all right, and we're not really, this was mainly because of Tanahashi's retirement. And you know what? Just gonna have to be real with ourselves here. All of 2025, when we're dealing with John Cena and his retirement, it kind of it happened. It put all of the it basically put all of the plans on hold for the WWE as to what they want their vision to be, because everything is just so highly focused on John Cena's retirement, which by the way ended very poorly. But that was the whole entire basis. No new stories were made, nothing was built. So although there was some story into it, I also felt that this year's Wrestle Kingdom was lacking. It was I don't know if it was star power it was lacking. I don't know if it was lacking in terms of interest, in terms of the big interest of it all. It has been getting weaker and weaker, and much weaker. So, I mean, at least that's how I see it. The fact of the matter is, New Japan as a whole is losing a lot of their stars. They are losing ton, a ton of people. Their contracts are up this year, and many of them, like Evil, like not Will Osprey, David Finley, okay, Drilla Maloney. If we don't know who those names are, it doesn't really matter. All I'm saying is that the big stars from New Japan, their contracts are up this year, and they are looking to explore other areas, which means you have a roster full of people who are not ready to take over the reins, with the exception of one person, and that's Yota Tsuji, and we'll get to him in a moment. Um, but yeah, it's lacking. It was lacking last year with Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino. And if it wasn't for Tanahashi's retirement being the main focus of Wrestle Kingdom, I would call this a very mess show. I would call this a very, very, eh. I wouldn't even call this top 10 in terms of best Wrestle Kingdoms of all time. But because of the match alone with Tanahashi versus Okada and the ceremony afterwards, and an incredible um double title championship between Yota Tsuji and Konosuke Takeshita. Um, it saved it. It saved it. I'll tell you what. The In terms of my review of this, and I will spare you the details about anything that has happened before, I will say, getting up to the Bullet Club War Dogs and the United Empire situation. Everything before that was just me. I saw the oh my god, what is it? The Never Trios Open Weight Championship in the Rambo. I thought it was fun, but it was me. Um, Saya. And we have a new women's champion as well too, which I'll get to that in a moment, basically. Um, but you know what? Let's just talk about with Tanahashi. Let's just talk about Tanahashi and Okada. So Okada comes out with his AEW themed music. he really brought himself to being the bad guy in this entire match. And then you have Tanahashi come out and they gave him the whole thing. The pyrotechnics, the fireworks, the fire. It's like they spent every last bit of money they had on the pyrotechnics just to give it all to him. And why not? He is truly New Japan, and he's gonna be your next president of New Japan. So needless to say, they have a fantastic match. There were moments where I think that Tanahashi will have the upper hand. The ending of the match, basically, it was a war of attrition between these two. It was a contest. It was a fight. It was Tanahashi was fighting real hard to make sure that he can send these people happy and win the match. And Okada, coming from AEW, All Elite Wrestling, the fallen son of New Japan, basically. He basically just come out saying, "Listen, I'm the bad guy in this. I am going to revel in the fact that I will be the guy to give you your final loss." And he did just that. And the crowd was saddened for a bit. But you know what? They also accepted the fact that, it is what it is. Many times when you are retired, when you are retiring, you have to lay down. You have to lay down, unless you're Sting, because Sting is awesome. I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comment section. Some of them, WWE fans collectively. You're going to say to me, Andrew, you are full of shit because you was bashing John Cena's, way of going out, and here you are. You're talking about Tanahashi going out. He lost, and you said it's fine. Well, John Cena losing isn't fine. Is that what you're trying to say here? No, that's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say here is this. This is different. In John Cena's situation, for decades he went on the principle of never giving up. It's on his towel. It's on his towel that you guys wave and you buy for, $50 off the merch stand. Right? Never give up. How you gonna be a man who decades said never gave up, and then on your last night you're just gonna give up? What does that say to the new generation? What did that say to the young boy or the young girl out there who grew up watching you, and then and to this point it's like, yeah, I give up. No, you die on your principles. Theoretically speaking, of course, you should have passed out. Die on your principles. That would have been the best send off. It sends a message. It's a positive message. And people don't get that. People don't understand, what are you leaving behind the minute that the lights go out and you're done? What is the last thing they want to remember you by? Now, I'll tell you this, people are going to remember John Cena as a guy who did his retirement poorly. And for a guy with all these accolades and a guy who has done a lot of Make-A-Wish events and all that stuff, he should have been going out as a god or a guy fighting a god. But instead, he smiled to the camera and lightly passed out. Whatever. No. This one is different. Those two were going to war. Those two were fighting. Those two were throwing themselves outside the ring. Those two were fighting stiff. Tanahashi knew that this is his final night wrestling in the Tokyo Dome in front of all his fans. And he is going to go out like he is fighting for his damn life. And Okada, to being a smug asshole that he is, he wanted to revel in the fact that he could end him just like that. And they did. And it was a classic. Two rivals going at it in a classic. And then the Rainmaker knocked him out. 1, 2, 3. That's all there is to it. But it was after the match I was really happy about. It was after the match where things really like came up here because after that, uh, man, Okada bowed down to Tanahashi, grabbing the microphone. He told him that you must be tired. He thanked him, left the ring. Fans cheered for Tanahashi as he struggled on his feet, and then the New Japan officials they gift him with flowers. So they doing this huge flower ceremony where when you retire, they come up with all these roses and all that stuff. If you are a wrestling fan and you follow professional wrestling, then you will love the names that came out in showing the respect and honor to Hiroshi Tanahashi. Um, First off was Jay White, and he looked great. He looked good. I missed the hell out of him, and I hope he's getting better. I hope he's getting much better because I want to see a lot more of him in AEW. And I feel that he has gotten the short end of the stick here. He should have been one of the major players in AEW, but because of injuries, it just hindered him, and it's sad. But I'm so happy that he showed up for Tanahashi. That was the biggest surprise. I was shocked to see that. And then out came Will Ospreay, and of course he was happy and shit. Will Ospreay was actually doing very, very good. He looks great. He looks great. Um, yeah. So he gave him his flowers, and of course Kenny Omega, Kenny Omega, who Tanahashi has various wars with. As a matter of fact, Tanahashi retired you know, um, Omega. Actually, just kept him out of New Japan in his final match. And then the limping Kota Ibushi. And you know what? I have to say something about Kota Ibushi, right? I love him. I feel that he's one of the best performers in professional wrestling. He's a hard nosed competitor, tough as nails, will give 110% to the crowd and everything that he does. But this kid is so fucking stupid, bro. He's so prideful in just how stupid he is sometimes. For those who don't know, Kota Ibushi was wrestling at a collision taping, an AEW collision taping. I think it was against Kyle Fletcher, or no, Josh Alexander. He went to the top rope to jump to the outside. He hit on the guardrail and broke his fibula. He broke the the biggest like bone on your leg in two places. Two places, right? That that is at least 2 years of recovery time. 2 years, and then here you have Kota Ibushi walking down this very long ass stage with a long ass ramp, going to the ring with a slant, by the way, limping without crutches, without a walking cane. And on top of that, he had to climb the steps. Kota Ibushi, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? No one's gonna ever think of you less of a man if you just come walking down in a freaking wheelchair. All right, I get it. You want to prove to yourself that you're a badass. You want to prove to yourself to Tanahashi that you have that fighting spirit, right? You tough, right? You want to show him how strong you are. I get that, but kid, think about your recovery, bro. Just by doing that alone, how many more months have that set you back, right? 2, 3 more months. Maybe you're a freak of nature, and if you come back by the end of the year, you know what? More power to you, bro. More power to you. You are insane. You are insane. I love it though. I love it, but you are absolutely insane for doing so. I wouldn't do it. Not at my age. Shit. Hard enough as it is with these knees. And they're not even broken. And then after him, you got the Katsuyori Shibata. Shibata showed up. And he demanded that Tanahashi has one more match with him. And they actually had a bit of a match. They started striking each other in the middle of the ring before they hugged it out in tears. That shit was awesome. That shit was awesome. And Kenji Muto, also known as the Great Muta, he entered the ring. And the shock of the night, the huge shock of the night, Tetsuya Naito, Los Ingobernables de Japón no more. Tetsuya Naito took his damnedest long time, the longest time that I ever seen a freaking wrestler take to get his ass into the ring. Just because you want to. Just because you fucking want to. It took forever to get to the ring. Forever. But the crowd was loving it. The crowd was loving it. You know, Naito told him, you know, that Tanahashi has inspired him. And he said that despite leaving New Japan, Tanahashi gave him the courage to walk down the Tokyo Dome ramp again. And then the two shared a fist bump, and you know, it was all good, man. And Tanahashi addressed the fans. He told the fans to keep supporting New Japan. And you know what? And then he went out, man. He also asked the Tokyo Dome to do the wave. It was great. He got a 10-bell salute. It was done perfectly. It was done perfectly. Triple H, you need to take a look at this match. And you need to take a look at what they did after the match. I really need you to get your head out of the gutter and think that you're better than everyone else because you're not, okay? You're hard-headed. You've always been hard-headed. All right? It's not taboo, it's not wrong to check out how other companies know how to treat their people on the way out, how to treat their retirements. AEW, they had a retirement for Sting, right? Sting didn't lose, but he won in a tag match. They gave him his flowers. It was great. It was in his hometown. Not his hometown, but it was when he first started wrestling in North Carolina. It was a beautiful thing. New Japan, right? Tanahashi lost. Yes, graciously, but he did it in a fight. He did it in a war. And then after that, he was showered with gifts. He was showered by people, you know, coming out and greeting him and all that stuff. And it was a beautiful thing. He left with that crowd cheering for him, you know? John Cena didn't get shit, in my honest damn opinion. It just came out looking weak. It just came out that he was using them as a cash grab and nothing more. And John Cena was just tired of this shit anyway. He was just happy to be done with it. But still, it's terrible. It's terrible. That's how you treat a legend. Watch Wrestle Kingdom so you can see how a legend is being treated. And the thing that made me very sad, the thing that made me very, upset about was the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't there for Tanahashi's final match. Because that would have been special. That would have been hugely special. And you know why Nakamura isn't there in the Tokyo Dome last night? Because Triple H told him no. Triple H has Shinsuke Nakamura on a leash. All right? The king of strong style is on a leash. That's exactly what happened. That would never happen in AEW. If Shinsuke Nakamura was in AEW, Tony Khan will say, yes, go. Do whatever you can. Fight him. As a matter of fact, yeah, Go and wrestle him. Wrestle him one more time. I want to see this. Yes. Because Tony Khan is a fan of professional wrestling. He's a fan of history. He is a fan of knowing what the people want to see. He's a fan of all of that. Triple H, he's a fan of dollars and cents, just like his daddy. At least his daddy has creative vision. Triple H has no creative vision, not anymore. You think that Vince McMahon himself would allow AI to dictate what stories will be placed on a weekly basis? Absolutely not. Well, Triple H could because he knows that the majority of the WWE fan base are sheepish. And they will watch to their full extent because it's nostalgia to them. And it's simple. They don't have to feel that they have to read a book and all that shit in order for them to get the gist of it, basically. You know? It's simple programming for simple adults and children. That's what it is. They don't want the complexities of historical wrestling and the importance of all of it and the war of attrition and the fighting. They don't care about aggression. They just care about, can you entertain me with your goofiness? And boy, oh boy, you people, and by I mean you people, you WWE fans, you're gonna get entertained and enrolled on your own damn goofiness starting on Monday. I may make a separate video regarding this, but the preview for tomorrow is it's the new Raw of 2026. And word on the street is Chris Jericho is going to appear on Monday. Yes, the same Chris Jericho who, in the far end of AEW, no one really liked, and they thought that was annoying, and they didn't want to see any more of Chris Jericho, and they felt that he was so full of himself. Those very same people who talk shit about Chris Jericho when he was in AEW, they're going to be the same type of people that will be singing his praises and singing his songs and laughing at his jokes and all of that, and they're going to be enjoying themselves because they're a bunch of marks and a bunch of hypocritical marks. A lot of hypocritical marks out there. And quite frankly, they're going to have a wild ride with it. And I'm probably going to see that too because it's Chris Jericho. Like I said, I got to do a separate video, but we got to talk about how Chris Jericho always, reinvent himself. And I'll do a separate video on that soon. But you know what? That's here, there, and there. We're talking about Wrestle Kingdom. So, another thing that happened on Wrestle Kingdom, was the IWGP Heavyweight Championship between Yota Tsuji. He is the global champion there, and Konosuke Takeshita, the current IWGP champion. The story, and if you don't know who those two people are, look at the very top of the poster itself, right? The guy with the goatee that looks like a Japanese Roman Reigns because that's exactly what he's made out to be, a Japanese Roman Reigns. That's Yota Tsuji. All right, that's Yota Tsuji. The guy who is the champion is the clean shaven guy, with the slick back, yeah, that's Konosuke Takeshita. All right. The guy's holding the belts. All right, now that you know that. So the whole theme about it is that Yota Tsuji, the guy with the goatee, he wants to be the champion. He worked hard as a kid to want the chance to become the champion and to become champion of all of New Japan pro wrestling because he adopted himself into the system. He worked his ass off in the New Japan dojo, studied the history of New Japan, so he is New Japan all the way. He feels that the title itself needs to stay with New Japan. The reason for that is Konosuke Takeshita, the clean shaven guy. He is triple contracted to 3 different wrestling promotions: New Japan, AEW, and another Japanese promotion called DDT. So this guy is a part timer, kind of like a Brock Lesnar. He's a part timer Brock Lesnar, and just like Brock Lesnar, he's good at what he does. He's the greatest talent out there. He wants to bring the world of pro wrestling together, and that it can be shared all over the world, and that's his goal. Needless to say, Yota Tsuji beat Takeshita in a fantastic match. And dude, there were times in that match where I thought Konosuke was going to get the freaking win. A part of me felt very pissed off that he did not win, but I get why they did it, and it makes a lot of sense, you know. It's better off that first off, Yota Tsuji, he's gonna be the leader of this new generation. If you see his wrestling matches, he's like a big, huge guy. I think he's like 6'5". He used to play high school football, and he has this $1,000,000 smile. It's like he went to the dentist or whatever, and got himself like these unbelievable new set of teeth, exactly like Roman Reigns. And the spear, whoo! You know what? Roman Reigns can say anything he likes to say about his spear, but the spear that Yota Tsuji gave to Koneska, see, it hit him so hard with such with a little bit of a good hang time. Jesus Christ, yo, he broke in a rib with that. It was bad. It was a freight train type of spear that just, oof, oh, that hurts. That hurts. And then you put him in the Boston Crab after that to make him tap? Damn. Boy didn't even have time to recollect himself. What the fuck happened? Jeez. But yeah, man. Oh man, that was a great match. That was a great match. You got to see that shit. If you want to see Wrestle Kingdom, all you have to do is go to njpwworld.com and subscribe to them. It's only $9 a month. You can cancel at any time. All right. So you're basically getting a high-powered pay-per-view, 50,000 people strong in Tokyo for just $9. You can't beat that. If you're a huge wrestling fan, you can't beat that. Can't beat that. But yeah, man, I loved it. I love those 2 matches. Those 2 matches was unbelievable and shit. But there was a third thing that happened at the Wrestle Kingdom that I really need to talk about here. And his name is Jake Lee. Who the fuck is Jake Lee? Well, you just have to find that out. You'll just have to find that out because he's nowhere in the freaking poster. All right. So I would just have to figure that out and find that for you. But here's the thing. Jake Lee, for those who understand professional wrestling, know who Jake Lee is. He came back. He returned as the 5th member of the United Empire against the Bullet Club War Dogs. What was anything goes, basically. I couldn't make out exactly what happened, but Jake Lee was all over the damn place, along with Andrade El Idolo. Andrade was part of that team. The fact is, Yota Tsuji won the championship. He won both championships, and he was about to address the crowd until Jake Lee showed up and beat the shit out of him. So something tells me I'm not gonna like Jake Lee. Something about this guy I just hate. Just remember that name, Jake Lee. He's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a problem all throughout the entire year. He is gonna be a problem. He's been involved twice in Wrestle Kingdom. He was like the main. He was one of the main focus of the entire evening. So anyway, that's how I see it. That's how I see my review. I mean, if I have to give a grade on it, I will give it an A. I will give it an A. And I'm giving it an A because of Tanahashi and Okada. B plus without it. B plus without it. You know, for the fact that I felt, the other match. Oh yeah, and then Evil and Aaron Wolf. I wasn't really much of a fan of. I don't care for it. I mean, shout out for Aaron Wolf for fighting a good fight, but Aaron Wolf to me, that whole entire match, I know what they're trying to do with Aaron Wolf. They want to make him the next Kurt Angle, basically. He's an Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, this plot sucks. You know, won multiple wrestling titles, blah blah blah. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of a Ronda Rousey. You know, when you're going from one world to another. I just didn't. I think it was fine. I just didn't think it was that great of a of a match. I don't know. It just felt very underwhelming to me. And what was the other? What was the other one I needed to talk about here? It was the women's match, basically. Well, I want to get their names right. I want to get their names completely right here so I know what the hell it is. Okay, yeah. Oh, God, Jesus Christ. Anyway. The women's. Okay. Sayuri versus Saya Kamitani. It's a women's match. It was fine. I didn't see much about it. Didn't really care much about it, basically. The woman I want to win, and it's in the poster. They're the two women in the bottom. The one with the supposed two belts dressed in black. That's who I wanted to win. Her name is Saya Kamatani. Trust me, you're not gonna know who the hell she is. But she was more marketable in her own right compared to her opponent. And I felt that her opponent, although she's a great wrestler, she's good. It's just like I can't I can't I can't connect with her. I can't connect with her the way I connect with Saya. So anyway, forget about that. See, that's what I'm talking about here. It's like the whole entire Wrestle Kingdom card was just weak. It was just weak. I wasn't fully entertained as I wanted it to. Most of the times I was on my phone and I was like, I just wanted to get to the meat and potatoes of the match, though the matches that I came to see, basically. You know, but like I said, you know, the last two matches saved everything, and Jake Lee. The last two matches and Jake Lee. Those three elements made Wrestle Kingdom a very good event to watch, basically. So I would definitely watch Wrestle Kingdom strictly for those final three events that just happened, and you will not be disappointed. If you want great wrestling, if you want a huge atmosphere, do so. Do it for yourself and watch other wrestling outside of WWE. It's okay to embrace all forms of wrestling. It's okay. You don't need to be stuck with just one because you want to send a message or you want to feel rebellious or defiant. You don't need to do any of those things. You can appreciate all forms of entertainment, all forms of pro wrestling, because all forms have a place in the world, and all you ask is for them to do better collectively. And they do. If we can just embrace that for 2026 instead of this whole back and forth tribalism thing, then things will be good. We're living in the best years of our lives as wrestling fans, and we're fighting with one another over some bullshit. Ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Embrace all wrestling. Appreciate all wrestling. All different forms, styles, you know? Culture yourself, you know? Do that. You know, you'll be more happier when if you did. You will be happier if you did. So that is it, man. That is my review of this whole damn thing. This whole Wrestle Kingdom bullshit. You know? Like I said, I like it, but we gotta do better. We just gotta do better. So if you like my rant about Wrestle Kingdom, if you have any questions or comments, you want to talk shit to me, that's fine. I don't care. Just put your name in the comments. Put your likes out there. You know, let me do this a little bit more. Let me do this. Let me talk to the people and tell people. Tell people about me. All right. I don't do this often, but when I do, it's for a damn good reason. So tell people about me. Hit that like and subscribe. So stupid, man. You guys are clowns, man. That's me saying I love you guys, right? Me talking shit to you like that. I just do it because it's fun. All right, it's all love. It's all love. But anyway, you got my podcast, got my reviews. So now, what do? Share it. Tell people about me. All right, so I can get some more likes and more replies and blah blah blah. So until next time. All right, this is Andrew signing off. See ya.